What's going on, everyone? So this is going to be a fun video. We just wanted to make a breakdown, really comparing and contrasting two really mainstream, very big booking models for patient acquisition when you are running paid traffic on Facebook or Google, being the traditional, book a consultation funnel, which 90% of clinics are doing now, and the newer and becoming more popular one, which is direct to cart, where they will go ahead and pay for your treatment first and then do the consultation. So we're going to compare and contrast the two here and really have some fun, because a lot of our clients and just clinic owners we speak with, on our day-to-day are asking us, which one should I do for my business right now? So we'll go over who should be doing direct to cart and who the standard book a consultation funnel is best for. So for those of you who don't know us, my name is Henry Rauscher. This is my partner, Colin. Colin, say what's up.
How you guys doing? Very excited for this video today.
Yeah. So he's the expert in all of this. So we're just going to break down, again, everything here for you. And we both run Clinically Qualified, where we help clinics in the TRT space, weight loss, peptide, really, you name it, get more patients using a combination of marketing, sales systems, AI, you name it. And really, we have clients asking us this all the time. So just want to break it down here. Now, Colin, for starters, if you could go ahead to the first slide here, and we'll get right into it. So, Colin, would you agree this is probably almost every clinic owner we speak with, just whether it's on a call, at a conference, whatever. I mean, what are you seeing just with most clinics on the market right now when it comes to not really having the right infrastructure and just patient acquisition?
Yeah, well, I would say majority of clinics that we speak with, or just people that are looking to start a clinic, they might already have a licensed doctor. They already have a compounding pharmacy. They already have some type of tech stack, whether that's, Health, or they have a CRM, they have a booking software, something like that. And then majority of them are compliant, right? So the biggest thing that we're seeing with majority of the clinics we work with and just speak to on a day-to-day basis are they definitely don't have leads or enough leads. They don't have enough patients. They have no marketing strategy whatsoever, meaning, they might not have a IC, or they don't have a target demographic they're going after, whether that's women, veterans, men that are in the gym. They're practically invisible online. They don't even have a Facebook page. They're not running ads, or they have ran ads in the past and maybe it just didn't go their way. They're not posting organically, and they really just in general have no patient acquisition system. So that's
interesting, because you make a great point there. And I think a big thing to emphasize too is, like, a lot of clinic owners, probably you watching this video here, you likely come from a clinical background or not. There's some great business people who we come across too as well that, start their clinics, but a lot of you do come from that clinical background. So you have the back end set up, you have the right doctors, the right, pharmacies, all the connections there. And then really what's missing, is the front end patient acquisition. So we see this all the time, and you'll see, whether you run direct to cart or the standard book a call funnel, both can work. It really depends on where you're at. But we'll show you just really a rundown of what we're seeing on our end and what the big players are doing as well. So a very good example of a very big player that is running direct to cart sales for their business is Hims. So these are some pretty crucial statistics for anybody in the clinic space, whether it's telehealth or brick and mortar, because regardless, whether it's someone who would go into your clinic or buy something online, they are seeing ads from big players like Hims on a day-to-day basis. Would you agree, Colin?
100%. I mean, if they're not seeing it once, they're seeing it 10 times. I mean, if you can see in this left-hand corner, they are spending, and this is off of 2025 statistics, which, if they're on the New York Stock Exchange, they're spending more probably, right? So this is as of last year, but they spent $182 to $200 million per quarter in 2025. They almost spent $1 billion. So every single patient that the clinic owners that are watching this, they're seeing the patients that you're actively looking to get are also seeing Hims. So this is, they're seeing Hims, they're seeing Roe, they're seeing Medvi. There are some big players in this game.
And a good point there is, like, with ads. I mean, if you've ran ads before, you likely know this. If you haven't, there's good information for you, but it's pay to play, especially on Meta. That's the best platform that we've seen for all our clinics and just people, we know. But the thing with it is it's auction based, right? So the more money you put into it, the more time someone's going to see your ad. So for every time someone sees your ad, regardless of your budget, because I assume You don't have $100 to $200 million a quarter to spend if you're watching this. Maybe you do, but they're going to see Hims's ads probably 50 to 100 times as much. So
Yep.
your ads need to be really good, get someone's attention, and position yourself as the go-to concierge option versus Hims. Plain and
100.
simple. Something that, go ahead.
And everybody can go find these statistics. They're on the stock market. So you can go look this up. You can go look on Google. You're going to find these exact same statistics.
Yeah. And again, when you run a direct to cart method, which we're going to break down here, your costs are obviously going to be higher because it just takes more to get someone to put their credit card in and make a $100, $200 payment, whatever it is, instead of booking a consultation to speak to a professional. There's always going to be more friction. So your costs are always going to be higher. Now, if you have a lot of capital and you want to be the next Hims and you don't want to talk to people, it can still work. You know, it absolutely can. It's just you need to accept and understand that you're very likely going to go negative on that first transaction. So it is a retention game. So when you're running this model, you're betting that they're going to keep coming back and paying you. And that's worked for Hims. As you can see with their, customer lifetime value, they see a return on average, a 3.5x on everyone who comes through the door. So it is a very, very, very big retention thing here. 100%.
100%.
Cool. So
Yeah.
we'll go through the differences here between the two models. Now, Colin, if you want to compare, I mean, we just went through direct to cart, we just broke down Hims's numbers there. Now, obviously with the booking model, it looks like, just from a bird's eye view, the numbers are a bit different if you want to go into that.
100%. The biggest thing in the booking model is the lower CAC and the higher LTV. The two main reasons is because of the patient relationship that you can develop with the patient that is opting in on the ad or coming through Google or wherever you're running ads. Nothing is gonna make me stay with Hims if I have no relationship with anybody. Now with Hims, they do have people that you can talk to. They have a portal that you can text in and stuff like that, but it's never the same person. So for example, for an independent clinic, like one of our guys, Jeremy at Weekend NP, all of his patients are only speaking to him. They're only going to speak to him, and he's running a call funnel, so a booking model. And on his page, he's got a VSL, so a video sales letter, and then they can just book their consultation right underneath that, and then they get sent over to his patient portal. So that's working really good for him and a lot of other companies that we're seeing in the market, either our clients or people that are outside of us. I'd say the biggest, like I said, the biggest two things are the lifetime value and the CAC. The lifetime value is just because, you can develop so much more of a patient relationship from the beginning to the end, right?
And your point is like the longer they're there, it's like they're going to be more loyal to you. They're going to be way less likely to shop around.
100%. You can build that relationship, right? Where if they saw a Hims ad, they wouldn't even think twice about going with Hims or going with Row or one of the other companies,
You know what's a good, I just thought of this on the top of my head, but I think it's a good analogy. It's literally like going to a barber. Like, you get that first great haircut from a guy, you connect, conversation's good. Who cares if Supercuts is going to charge half the price?
Yep.
You don't, the guy, he's going to do good work, the process. They have a customer for life or as long as you're in that area, right? So that's really the game you're playing when you're 100%. Running the booking model. It's developing that relationship there. And another big thing too is with our clients like Weekend and P, like you talked about, if you're the business owner taking the consultations, or if you have a staff member who's usually the one doing that, you or them can actually just film video ads on your iPhone and launch those to people. And now there's way more familiarity with yourself and your brand, because someone may see you for the first time and be whatever, scroll past it. But if they see you 10 times, and when the time comes, when they're in the market for your treatment, they're going to go to you every single time and be much more excited to actually talk and do that consultation. Because again, they know your face, they know you're reputable. So a big lever you can pull running this model for anyone watching this video is don't be lazy and film some ads from your phone. Yeah. This just breaks down the actual direct to cart model and the steps someone goes through, just so you can see what we're talking about. And again, this is really becoming more popular and trendy now, just because everyone likes the idea of e-commerce, selling someone something without talking to them. And I get it here. So just so you understand what that is to a T. So first, the patient comes in from an ad. They go to a landing page. Now, Colin, on that page, this is where they're actually making the payment and converting then and there, correct?
Exactly. And pretty much what they're paying for there is they're paying for access to a consultation with a doctor, and majority of the time a lab kit is included in that.
Okay.
And the way they're doing that is they're selling them the patient pretty much what they want, the medication. So they have a picture on a landing page of the medication, testosterone, semaglutide, anything like that. And then on there they have some disclaimers, if the
Mhm.
physician says that this is not the prescribed medicine that you need, we will give you a
Yep.
full refund, right? So that's how
And
they're getting away with that.
yeah, so to be clear, that's like the lever they pull to be able to do that transaction because they still have to then do the consultation and obviously like they get a refund if not a fit, but that's how like legally you can run this model and get people to pay, correct?
Yes, exactly. And then
Yeah.
pretty much give them what they want and then sell them what they need on the back end.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yep.
for sure. Okay. So this is the standard booking model. Now, maybe you're running this yourself. If you're watching this, chances are you are for anyone who needs a refresher. So really they come in from, it says awareness there, from an ad and then they're just booking a consultation then and there. So here, Colin, the big difference here is there's no payment. Some people, maybe you'll do a deposit, a card on file, but the biggest difference here is we're just letting them book. There's no
Exactly.
financial. Yeah.
And,
Okay.
and that's the thing is people want to talk about, their health. And at least with our clinics and the people we work with and a lot of the people we talk with, they want to develop that patient relationship from the beginning. A lot of these guys are doctors.
Yep.
Maybe you watching this video, you're a doctor. You actually do want to develop that patient relationship. So this is just so much of a better model, and you can actually make a little bit more money because you're diagnosing them with a protocol. Maybe you can throw some fitness stuff in there, a meal plan, stuff like that, right?
Yep.
Where, Hims or MedV, they're not going to get away with anything like that.
Yeah. Another thing too is like if you have a bulk treatment, which we'll make another video on this of how to come up with like a high ticket offer if you don't have one. However, let's say you have a 6 month like pricing package or 12 month, on this consultation, this is a good chance to actually upsell them onto that because most people are already committed to doing it long term. And if
Yep.
you just say like, hey, we have this, if you want to save some money, commit to 12 months here, you get two extra free. You want to do this, at least 1 in 5 people from the data we have will likely jump on that, if not more. So again, just a lot more cash collected up front, and it makes running ads a lot more profitable as well. Yeah.
Exactly.
And then here, so Colin, you have Row and Hone here. So
Yep.
these are the big players running the classic standard booking funnel.
Yeah, and
And
there's some others in the industry like Merrick Health, Transcend is a big one. I know they had some problems recently, but they're big on the booking as well. And these work great. I mean, that's how a lot of, bodybuilders can develop a relationship with their clinician. That's how a lot of regular guys can develop a actual relationship with their clinician. And it seems to be working great for both of these companies, and majority of the companies that we work with, right?
and
Exactly.
and I think this is good just because like no matter what you want to do, if you're watching this, like these are guys who were able to take a pretty big chunk of market share, from just Hims running the standard booking funnel. So
Yep.
just another point I want to make, like, you can crush if you're telehealth or brick and mortar. Let's say you want to be the next game day. Either way, you can crush it running either of these. More likely, the point we're gonna hear is the standard booking consultation, though. There's really not much of a ceiling on it, as one might think, as these
100.
guys, yeah, as these guys prove. So here, this is just a direct comparison for direct to cart versus booking, and like I just suggested, pretty much for anyone watching this, I'm going to say for 99.99% of you, unless you have hundreds of millions of dollars in capital you're sitting on to, really burn through ads and just get data and take on those big costs, we recommend honestly running a booking model every single time. We really do. You're going to have much lower costs when it comes to acquiring a patient. You're likely going to have higher lifetime value, and really just all the numbers on the margin side of things just go in your favor. So again, if you're a very rich guy with a lot of patience, hell yeah, try direct to cart.
Yeah.
I'm not saying you can't. It's just most people watching this, you're probably not going to succeed with that. You have to have a very big budget and be comfortable just playing the long game like that. And a lot of clinics just don't have the cash and the mindset, to be honest, to endure that. And I understand that. So
100%. And I just want to make this point too. This is on every level in terms of wellness. I would even say for blood kits, you
Yep.
would want to do a consultation, right? We've had multiple clinics we've worked with where they want to try like a $49 blood kit. It is very hard to come out profitable on the front end on those, unless you're selling like a 50 plus biomarker and it's $800. And I don't know how many people are actually going to purchase that, right? So,
Hard.
yeah.
That's hard.
I would always do booking 100% of the time. Like it says right here, you can't outspend HIMS $182 million a quarter, but you can outserve them, right? You can do your job better than them because they are ultimately just a drop shipping company.
Literally. And again, people will pay more and stay with you for longer when they have that care. You
Yep.
know, like it's just much more like I'm just thinking of myself as example for any medical thing that I wanted resolved, whatever it is, I want to talk to an expert first.
Yes.
And I think that's still where the market's at, or at least a lot of the market is at, frankly. You do have the people who will still go with hymns, but you just don't want to, you just don't market to them.
Yep.
That's the big thing. You target a different ICP, different customer. We'll help you out with all of that in different videos here as well. But again, so the winner, if we are if we're comparing the two in a
Ding,
competition
ding,
and
ding.
boxing match, we are going with the booking model. So
100%.
yeah, definitely go with that if you were deciding between the two, or we're running booking already and we're considering doing direct to cart. So here, Colin, if you just want to break down really the best way to start in terms of just patient acquisition from that for a booking funnel. And this slide here is for anyone who is brand new to this, or maybe you've tried it on your own, but one piece of the puzzle was just missing, and frankly, it all collapsed, which we've seen happen a lot to clinics
Yep.
we talk to. But take it away.
Yeah, if exactly like how you said, if you're already running the direct to cart or you're already running booking, these are just some things that you can kind of check off if you have or not. But one thing's for sure, you need a landing page. On that landing page, you can have it go direct to a calendar. This is what most of our clinics do just because of the low friction point, because, it's just a consultation. You can pretty much figure out everything that you need to afterwards. Now, if you're just getting, like we like to say, donkeys, which are not the best, not the best type of leads, but if you are just getting bad leads, then we'll put in a application form, and then after that application form, it'll send them to a calendar to route
Yep.
them to book to your calendar. After that, we would always recommend to run ads. We love Meta. It's the fastest, I love to say, cash velocity cycle. It's really the fastest return in terms of marketing. But
Especially
Google,
telehealth for
yeah,
sure.
yeah, especially telehealth. Google's great too, though. If you always want to experiment with that, I would say that's more for like brick and mortar, and that's also more down the road. Like I said, Meta is a lot quicker. You can recruit your cash a lot quicker than putting money
Yep.
into Google. What you
Okay.
want to do after that, you need a sales system. What we see a lot of the times, a lot of the clinics that we work with, they don't really have a system in place because they're a doctor, right? So they don't have 100 sales calls recorded or a script typed up because they're busy people. We
Yeah.
100% understand it. But we would 100% recommend you to have at least call recordings. If you're the one doing the calls, make sure you record those calls for when you
Yep.
are scaling and you do have a team. It's just going to make hiring and
Yeah.
placing those positions so much easier, right?
Yep. And it should be seamless when you bring on a new person. Like you should just have all these assets. They get right away. They go
Yep.
through the training on their own. And this is huge because like it's not like you're selling a house. Like most people booking, they just want to make sure like it's a fit. It can actually help them, and like if they can afford it, they'll do it. Right? It's not the hardest sale. They just need to know how to actually present, the protocol, the solution, what questions to ask, and just how to conduct an actual sales conversation, as well as charge high ticket and present offers that way. But big one there, Colin. And then lastly, it's still a retention based business at the end of the day. So none of this crap matters at all if patients are just leaving a month after. So you really do have to have your patient experiences, whether in person or virtual, just dialed in and make sure they get the best care, best treatment, and just best quality of service possible. Because whoever retains clients, for the longest, they're the ones who are going to do the best in this
Yep.
space. That's just the truth, right? So really just make sure that your retention rate is good and your churn is not bad. But I would really say, at the end of the day, retention is the number one thing in all of this.
100%. What we've seen some clinics do is send out, some brand memorabilia, like some t-shirts, some hats. If you're telehealth, you can send them, we've even seen some people send an extra product. It
Yeah.
depends on what product that might be, but it really anything to get that person to stick because this is a really sticky business. You just have to be the person that they stick to, right?
Yep. And in telehealth, it's as simple as like a loyalty program, even. Like we've
Yep.
seen people crush with that, where
Yep.
they're with you for X amount of months, they unlock a free month of this peptide or that,
Exactly.
to your like whatever, right? So there's all sorts of things you can implement and test. But that's pretty much everything here. And like the moral of the story of all of this is, don't reinvent the wheel. If something's working for you or it's working for others, which is the standard booking consultation, go ahead and implement that because otherwise you're going to find yourself very likely competing on price if you are running direct to cart.
Yep.
It is very, very hard and it can be a race to the bottom if you don't have a certain level of sophistication and budget, which most people don't. It's tough. It's tough. So that's pretty much everything there. Any last thoughts, Colin? Anything you wanted to go through here?
No, you took the words out of my mouth. Don't compete on price. I would say 100% go, especially if you're starting, go with the booking route,
Yep.
right? So you can develop the relationship with your patients. You can ask them questions that you have for them, right? And then you can develop a sales system and everything around that rather than just throwing up a Shopify website and then hoping that people buy and then you go negative and now you don't think meta ads work. You know what I mean?
Exactly right. You start blaming Facebook. Just look at Hims. Tell Hims Facebook doesn't work. They'll have a good laugh at you. But yeah, guys. So hopefully everyone watching this, you got some value out of this. We just want to go over this trend of direct to cart because we've been getting a lot of questions on that on our end from clinics that we speak with. Now we're gonna keep coming with the videos. Trying to provide you guys with as much value as we possibly can. So hopefully everyone watching this, you did get some value out of the video here, and we'll keep them coming. And really, we're gonna try and be as consistent as we can here to help you, whether it's scaling your business or starting it wherever you're at. We want to make sure that we can best serve you in any way we can. Now, if you are looking for a little bit of extra help with your clinic and you do want a growth partner to help you with all things patient acquisition, and frankly, you just don't have time for any of this stuff, I get it. Just go ahead and click the link below. We'll include it in the bottom of the description of this video, and you can book a quick 15-minute call with either myself or one of our team members where we'll just break down where you're at with your clinic, see what you need, and if we can be the best partner for you, fantastic. We'll go from there and see what we can do. But regardless, hope this video helped, and we'll keep them coming.
Sweet.